Welcome, everyone, to the Campus Waterfowl Podcast. I'm your host, Derek Christians, and welcome back to the Collegiate Waterfowl Tour. I know you guys all have been waiting for this. Just a reminder, this is being recorded on YouTube as well, so if you guys are on the road listening to this podcast, feel free to check out where we're staying at here this weekend. This weekend, we are at University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, so we're here for the last weekend of early goose season. I got some students with me here. Got Jake, Gavin, and Hayden here, and we're gonna dive into probably a lot about, I think, goose hunting in general, but maybe a little bit of the early goose season stuff. We know it's the end of the early goose season, but I think it'll be good for you guys to hear about some of the things that these guys look for throughout the season, and then maybe some things that they're looking and excited for this upcoming season here in North Dakota. So just given even duck season for you guys start next weekend.
Yeah.
So, but first we have to thank a couple of our sponsors. We always have Cartridge here. This year we're shooting their Fast Steel Plus loads. It's a stack load, and they come in different load styles, I guess. And this year we're shooting the 2.4s. It's it's a good load for just about everything. We were actually using them for geese this weekend, and they're knocking them down pretty good. Be sure to be on the lookout for those at a local retailer. And then also this year we are sponsored by Spandau Firearms, and they just came out with a brand new S2 gun. And what do you guys, Jake, you were the one shooting this weekend. What are your kind of thoughts on that?
I mean, I liked it. I only shot it maybe 3 times, but the shots that I took, I knocked each down and got the job done.
There we go. That's all we need to hear. So feel like it felt good in your hands, like shoulder well.
Yeah, it felt good. Felt good on the shoulder.
Cool.
So.
Sweet. Yeah. Gavin, you got anything to say about it? What are your first impressions?
It would remind me a lot of M2.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, we'll be shooting those all this hunting season. So we didn't get a chance to do like a full review video or anything on it this weekend, but at some point this week or this season, we'll definitely break that firearm down and show you guys kind of the different features that it offers. So, and the price point that it's at. It's only, what did we say, $400?
Yeah, it was $400.
Yeah.
So pretty wild. So, but all right, well, let's get into this podcast. You guys mind doing a quick introduction about what you're doing here at UND and who you are and where you're from?
All right. Start in the end.
You want me to start? My name is Hayden Helgeson. I'm from Grand Forks. I am a local. And I'm going to UND for UAS, which is drones. So we'll see where that takes me.
Yeah. My name's Gavin Caruso. I am from Pennsylvania. I'm at University of North Dakota for wildlife fisheries.
Yeah, I'm Jake Knutson, and I'm from Minnesota as well. And I am also a fisheries and wildlife biology major.
And then what year were you guys again?
I think we're all seniors.
Year 4.
All seniors?
Yep.
Nice. All right. Well, let's dive into the hunting stuff right away. I think that's what the listeners are wanting to, what they're wanting to listen to. So, early goose season there in North Dakota this year. What is it like? What's it like?
There's a lot of different variables. Like, we have our local geese, and then we have the molt push that comes down from Canada's or 2-3-year-olds that are non-breeders. And that's when you get really good. Like, we had a good hatch for local Canada geese just in the area. And it was a good early, like the first couple weekends are just your locals, and then the last 2 weekends are your molt pushes.
Mm-hmm.
So what I look for early season is like forage barley, because that normally gets taken off in July, which you can go and find, like if you find cattle farmers, and most of them are going to take it off for hay. So that's going to be taken off in July, so you don't have to worry about wheat, and some barley doesn't get taken off early enough for our August 15th season.
Right, when the season starts.
Correct. So that's mainly what I look for right away. And then later on, pretty much last weekend was our main weekend where we had a big push Thursday, Friday. So we ended up going, we went up to the Canadian border to hunt molts. We ended up shooting 13 or whatever it was, and then after the push, we just went and found geese. And last weekend we actually ended up hunting like 5 times in 3 days. So it was a good weekend.
Nice.
You guys got after him.
Gavin, what have you guys' season? What are your thoughts on the early season in general, even, and kind of what? Because like from being from down in Memphis and then just hearing kind of outsiders' perspective looking in, it seems like a lot of people will travel to North Dakota to kind of scratch that itch. Have you guys what's that like? Kind of like what's pressure look like throughout kind of the early season?
I mean, I don't think pressure is like crazy in the early season. I mean, it depends on where you are, really.
And who you ask, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I mean, there's always Minnesota drivers running around, hunters. I mean, there's some guide services out here.
Yeah, but a lot of the guide services don't run in just the early season, just for the fact that the geese aren't really patternable yet.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 shot, and I think a lot of them that I've talked to, they don't like running just because in the morning the geese can switch.
Right.
It's either going to be a home run or it's going to be you're going to get hit by the pitch.
Yeah.
So
it seems like a lot of people think early goose season is probably like kind of easy until they actually experience it and get their butts kicked for an entire weekend. And
yeah, it's
actually
frustrating.
Learn what how much work goes into it. So I guess I don't want to have you guys share your tips and like your secrets or anything like that, but maybe what are some things and recommendations you might have that you've seen work, I guess, or in just general practice, I guess, of having a successful hunt?
I mean, big water is always good. Even some of the smaller water, just trying to find where those geese are getting held up and then follow them.
Mm-hmm.
what I found is if you find like a big body of water, and then if you see like, I look for sandbars and I look for islands, I look for long stretches of, sometimes it looks like a beach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more than likely going to have the main roost. So when I'm going to, say I go scout a new area, that's what I look for, and then I just watch and see if I can see it, I will see if there's any birds there. If I can't see it, I'll wait till they fly off at night, whether it be 5:30, 6:30, and that's mainly what I look for, just in the early season, I guess, and the whole season, really.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of your prep, like scouting.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you do. How many hours? Like, and we were kind of joking about this when I first got here, was like Friday night, have no idea where we're hunting the next day, and that's pretty typical. Is that kind of typical for you guys, where you're not sure where you're hunting?
Yeah,
or the morning or the evening before a hunt?
I would say not. I mean, it's not always the case. Like, you might know like 2-3 days out, but in the early season, like you said, it's kind of difficult to pattern geese.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, like, I know where all the roosts are, so what I'll end up doing is like geese that I've seen like in the previous weekend. Like, we all have class during the week, so I mean, we might get out for a scout before the weekend just to try to beat the people or the pressure that's going to be out on that Friday night. But a lot of times I'll go check back and look at my 40, 50, even 100 bird feeds that I've had on the previous weekend just to see if they build.
Mm-hmm.
That's mainly what I do.
Yeah.
And then, I'll show you. I lost my train of thought. I guess even how many like hours and miles do you guys think you guys are putting on when it comes to scouting?
So I actually keep track of
Do you
mine.
keep a log?
Yeah. So far this season, just driving back and forth from the farm and scouting, it's like about 3,000 miles so far since August 15th.
Is it 3,000?
Yeah.
I think when I did that tracker on the car, we're at 900, close to 900 for
This weekend?
For this weekend,
You said
yeah.
just for 900 for 3 days, 2.5 days roughly?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jake, do you remember how many miles you put on your 98 Silverado?
I'm trying to remember. It was probably close to 900 though, like Gavin.
Yeah, I think it was like 870 this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you guys done a lot of stuff just like pre-scouting using Onyx or like any of those applications?
Yeah, I'll use Onyx usually a lot. And you just kind of go through, find those bodies of water that you think geese might be in, and then you drive out there and drive around.
I think it's historical too. Like, I mean, being from Grand Forks, you kind of got a real basis of where birds are going to be certain times of the year, what kind of fields they're going to want to be in and everything. But I mean, for me, only being here for 4 years, you know your area that you just need to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so being a local, my dad used to be a guide out in Devil's Lake, so a lot of it was just like learning from him, but you pick up on some new stuff along the way, and a lot of times those geese that you found the previous year or the 4 years earlier, they're going to be back. That's what I found.
You still kind of you find them in those general same areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about, does that stand true even like throughout the hunting season and into late season? Do you typically have your birds in those general same areas?
I think, general same
so
areas, but I would say it's
all the way
kind of
from-
crop dependent.
Yeah,
really.
crop dependent, but a lot of times once you find like the field is what I call it. Like a lot of the fields that I've been hunting through all of early season have been the same ones since the first weekend. So
Yeah.
a lot of it is, I think, once you go to an area and you establish relationships with farmers, that's like the number one thing in North Dakota, I think. So I've built relationships through the years, and like I'm not into like leasing or paying for ground, but I do think it's nice to help out the farmers. So like I'll give away fish, or I'll give away some of the processed goose that we get, or whether it be just going to say hi in the middle of the summer. That's what I found, that they really like giving back.
Yeah, I've even had students tell me like they'll even offer like just time if they need help on the farm and stuff. And so that goes a long ways in building those relationships and then getting possible permission come fall. So, have you guys had some good success this early goose season? Would you say, compared to possibly other seasons?
This season's been pretty special compared to last fall. We didn't have a good hatch last fall. There wasn't the numbers that there was this year, but yeah, it's been good.
Pretty good. Gavin, Jake, what do you guys think?
I mean, I don't know. Just like for us, I think it's been tough. Just a little bit tough.
tougher?
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, Hayden even said to me one time, he's like, you're more into the ducks. Like geese. Like, I like hunting geese. I just like hunting waterfowl, but I'm big into the ducks. So geese, I could take or leave.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, for geese this year, this is kind of my first weekend out in North Dakota doing it, so you kind of know how that went. And then I've had some luck on the other side of the river, though, in Minnesota for a couple hunts. So
Yeah, you had a good day the other day.
last weekend I got a 4-man limit. It was pretty good.
Nice.
That's still 15 birds a person over there, or is that?
No,
8?
it's 5.
Oh, it's 5. Dang.
And I just want to highlight too, Gavin, you're from Pennsylvania. What was that like going from Pennsylvania to out to North Dakota?
Oh, 180. 180. Like back home, we just, you get a pond or something that's got, 50, 60 ducks on it. Like everybody's gearing up. Like they're getting ready to kill birds. But then you come out here and it's like you drive past ponds that have 200-300 birds on it. People just don't even blink. That's like, oh. But I think especially out here, how many times did you hunt water last year?
I've never hunted water in my life.
Yeah, and that's all we did in Pennsylvania was hunt ponds and flooded timber. I mean, every once in a while we hunted a field, but out here it's pretty consistent field hunting.
Hayden's out here that doesn't even own a pair of waders. He's
No,
like,
I
I don't want to own a pair of waders. Like I never want to touch water.
No, stay dry if you can. If it rains, it rains. But
Yeah, no. Do you guys even want to? I think there's a lot of people down the flyway they hear a lot of different things about they're hearing from North Dakota, like especially bird numbers. Do you guys want to give a little insight of like what you guys are seeing up here in North Dakota, maybe, and compare it to previous seasons of what you've been seeing for like duck numbers and maybe goose numbers?
There's no birds up here.
And just give it like, and like this is not like scientific or anything by means, but this is more so just like your point of view, your perspective of what you're seeing.
I think it's too early to tell for ducks, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily looking for them either, but trying to think.
I mean, I've seen just a lot of ducks in general this year so far, but I mean, it comes with there being a lot of geese. It was not necessarily a warm spring, but we didn't have all the snow that we had the year before, and the hatch was good. So, and it was moderately wet in the early spring and kind of mid spring, and that can really help duck numbers.
I think they might have had maybe even a third hatch.
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah.
a lot of the ducks that I'm seeing on the pond, like early season, like the August 15th, like
They still got broods with them.
they were still like you can hold them in one hand.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I'm interested to see what Canada's produced, because you got birds here, and that's all well and great for the first 2 or 3 weeks, but then those ducks, they smarten up and they fly and they move, and the weather's going to change. But I mean, us being at the top of the flyway here, like with Canada, really depends on how our year's going to go.
And have you guys heard of anything up there for numbers? You guys got any contacts up there that keep you posted whether or not the birds are coming or not?
I have a few buddies that guide up in Saskatchewan and said that snow goose hatch was pretty good, and they're seeing a lot of juvies rolling around. Said the ducks are everywhere. The Canada geese had a good hatch too. So sounds like we're in for a pretty good treat for this fall.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
So when it comes to, and we can kind of go back, I'd like to go back to kind of some of the maybe just goose hunting tips and tactics. So now, say like this weekend is the last weekend of early goose. Like how does your guys' strategy from early goose to now just regular season goose season change? Does it change at all, or does it kind of just change over time as the season goes on? When it comes to, I would say, like decoy strategy, calling, hide, all those variables.
I would say decoy strategy and calling definitely changes.
So I don't like to call at all in the early season. Very, very minimal. And I like to sit either right where they are or right at the edge of the field so they can't shortstop you. So if they're coming and their flight line's coming at you from the roost, you want to be a couple 100 yards off that edge. So they don't have a choice, really.
Right. Yeah, try to minimize as many options, or give them as least amount of options as possible. Yeah. And then with decoys, what would you say with the decoys? What have you found work the best?
So this fall, I made the switch over to DSDs, and I've running 32 of them. And that's all I ran all fall.
So you've just done an early season with the DSDs.
Yeah,
now.
I just got them this July.
Okay, and you said you've had a pretty successful season with those.
Yeah, Not saying that other ones don't work. Like I've killed geese over skinnies, and I've killed geese over like any other decoy, but just I don't know. Just birds have been doing right to the foot bags every time.
And you can tell kind of like they're kind of just reacting differently when you're calling, or just they're maybe seeing the decoys better. Like, have you seen anything like that happen?
So a lot of the times, like if they don't see like where we are, if we're in like the base of a hill or on the backside of a hill, if I give them like I'll call just to get their attention, but as soon as they see us and set their wings, it's
really they're locked up.
They're done.
And you could tell, like, even like I don't want to like have you second guessed like the other decoy brands or anything, but you can tell like they lock up better and they stay locked up compared to some other decoys.
I don't know. It's just been, they've really impressed me. Just the motion of them. Like I just have them on stakes. I don't have like later on in the season. I'll put bases on them, but for right now, the stakes and making a. So I like to sit outside the spread, like 20, 25 yards, and then I like to run like a straight line in front of me, basically, really loose. Just so they have a lot of options to land, but basically that straight line is like a blocker. So if a lot of times they'll come and they'll just sit right on the edge, so you're shooting 20, 25 yards, but it's close enough in my books.
Right. So I kind of want to just like continue talking about this because those DSDs are like just something that it's an investment, obviously. And so like even when it comes to caring for like those types of decoys, like how do you take care of them and like ensure that like they don't get chipped or like get scratched or anything like that?
So what I've been told is they come with like they make a really good flocking kit and the paint and that you can get on their website. But what I've been doing is I bag them with like a laundry bag, and then I put them into a 6-slot bag. And so a lot of times, like I bought the Maximas so they're aces, they have ace honkers, which is the smaller decoy, and the ace giants. Ace giants are way out of college students' price range. But what we ended up doing is we got a group of us together to get to that 20 boxes, and that's a 20% off bulk discount. So ordered as a group, save some money there, and then the Maximas are a 2-piece. They're in between ace honker and an ace giant, and so I like the size of the decoy. The giants are huge, like really big. But I think the ace honkers I think they're too small. I'm a big decoy. I like be able to smaller spreads, bigger decoy.
Yeah. You think that'll pay? I think that'll pay dividends come late season, having some a little bit bigger too.
So we were talking a little bit about the calling. Like, so you were saying you don't do much calling.
Very, very minimal, but it's all in reading the bird.
Oh yeah.
And so like if they are lunch lining 500 to 1,000 yards away, then I'll hammer on them. But if they're in line with you, it's no call.
Yeah.
How long has it taken you to like be able to read the call, or not read the call, read the birds?
I'll let you guys touch on this too, but I feel like the past couple of years, it's just like you want to call. Like the geese are coming, you want to call. It's just like getting excited, and like you want to like, and I think you overuse, and that scares a lot of birds away. And then it's just like reading the geese and trying different things, basically learning as you go.
Gavin,
I mean, from just experience, like in Pennsylvania, I know it's not going to be, terribly similar out here, but in Pennsylvania, we would just go to some place like a pond that had geese on it or a field that had geese on it, and just sit for an hour and listen, just see what they sound like when birds are coming in, birds are flying away. I think that's how I learned, and then just trying to mimic those sounds. And I think, especially in North Dakota, I have definitely learned early season, like, be quiet, don't just get their attention, and then kind of just settle down. But I think starting towards like later season when, I think later season, like you're harping on them a little bit more, but you're still not overdoing it as you would see like in the South, or a little bit more of a pressure hunted area, maybe in the Chesapeake Bay. Some of those guys, their faces are turning red from calling. And I think sometimes it's also how many birds are in the area. Are you having to compete with other live birds? Are you having to compete with other hunters? Are you like, what's the pressure like?
Right.
So.
Yeah, I agree with what Hayden said. It's just more you do it, the more you learn, experiment a lot. And definitely not a lot of calling during early season, though. That's definitely the way to go.
And is that pretty, like, that's applicable even moving forward into regular season until you kind of start, kind of like Gavin was saying, like all these different variables you take into account of like how you're going to call and when to call and things like that? Would you guys say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the later the season goes on, like they respond to calling a lot better. Even with the molts coming in, I think like you can tell if they're noisy, you can be noisy. But I think it's a lot different from like for us hunting up here. We're hunting a lot of like large Canada geese. The south, like if farther south you go, like South Dakota, they're hunting large Canada geese. Nebraska, they're hunting large Canada geese. But a lot of times, like in January or December, January, all the Canada geese, like the large numbers from Canada, are sitting on Sakakawea, or they're sitting on in Montana, and they don't make it that far. But and a lot of the little geese, they're like Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas. You have to harp on those things, or else they ain't coming to you because there's just so many.
And they're noisy. Those are noisy birds.
That's when their faces are turning red, calling out those things.
All right. Have you guys been able to do much traveling for birds or anything like that for hunting?
Yeah, I mean, we were just in South Dakota this spring hunting snows, and then hunting them up here a little bit. I mean, I've been all up and down the East Coast, North Carolina, Maine, Maryland, Virginia, Delaware hunting. But I don't think I've ever hunted Minnesota for waterfowl, or any further south in South Dakota. I mean, we were damn near Nebraska when we were hunting
we were
snows.
right on the riv.
Yeah.
But no, I like to. A lot of people come here
Right.
to North Dakota, and especially our birds get really stale as soon as that, because they like the people that are coming, they're coming for a week and not just for like a couple days here and there, like the way we hunt. So our birds get like, say we have a feed, that feed's gonna get hunted 3 out of the 4 times of the week. So the birds get really, really smart. But to go back on like traveling for like people come here, I like to go to Canada. So like Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Manitoba just switched to a draw, so now you have to draw. So I drew this year, so I'll go back up there, and then South Dakota's a draw as well. So I'll be going down to South Dakota this fall. Don't think I'll make it to Saskatchewan this year, just I was at school, but we'll see.
Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of traveling for birds. It's mostly just North Dakota and Minnesota. I do a lot in Minnesota, and yeah, I'm not far from the North Dakota border, so I do a lot of hopping back and forth. And with school, I get residency for birds, so.
Yeah. Did that? Did you factor that in when you came to UND?
Yeah, that was a big factor.
Oh yeah,
I know Gavin did.
Gavin, yeah.
I mean, the whole point of me being here is to study waterfowl, so might as well come to the big mecca, right?
Yeah.
Prairie pothole region.
Yeah.
What about? So it's funny that Hayden, you mentioned Canada. Like a lot of people come here, and then you guys go to Canada. And the guys from South Dakota that I just in the last podcast, they mentioned the same thing, where they just want to go to Canada, escape it all.
Yeah.
So, what about say like within the states? Maybe where would you want to go?
Well, I'd love to do a sea duck hunt on the coast. That'd be pretty cool. But also, yeah, I want to go to Canada some fall. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, I think Texas, Oklahoma would be sick. Get into some of those birds down there, and even, I mean, bite the bullet and pay for the trip, and work on doing something in maybe in Alaska, hunting some eiders or some harlequins out there. That would be, I think that would just be unreal.
Yeah, depends on what you ask me. Like if you want to go do ducks, or if you want to go do stone
Yeah, I guess
geese,
it
or
depends
if you
on what
want
it
to
is.
Definitely
What
species
kind of
based.
bird.
yeah. So for ducks, I think I'd want to go to do some timber hunting.
Down south.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Seeing them come through the trees. That'd be cool. For geese, I think I'd want to go to Montana, like real late
see them coming over the mountains.
You want
and
to be
stuff.
buried in
Yeah.
the snow.
That'd be fun.
Before the podcast, we were kind of discussing some things that you guys are involved with here on campus. You guys have the North Dakota or University of North Dakota Wildlife Society. Is
Yep.
that what it's called?
Yep, it's I guess probably most people just know it as the like TWS Society.
Mhm.
So we have our own chapter here at UND, but there's a whole North Dakota chapter that they host every year in Mandan, North Dakota. They have a chapter meeting there. We'll be going to that.
Yep, that's usually in middle of winter, February.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think one of the cool things with that is it costs you nothing to join their chapter.
Hmm.
yeah.
Like if you it's $0 to join the chapter, and I mean, you just some of the places where they hold the chapters, paying for a night or two at a hotel, and then with having your membership, they provide you dinner, and they provide other things, beer and drinks and everything. So it's just, especially if you're in an academic part of it, like it's incredibly helpful to just network with people.
Yeah, a lot of networking.
Yeah, and there's people there doing, like,
All
last
kinds
year
of
there
stuff.
was, DOT was there. They had people from the South there. They had people from Canada that were there. They had everybody from just all walks of life doing all kinds of research projects, and the opportunities and job opportunities are incredible.
And what are some of the things that you guys do, like on a, like, I don't know how often you guys meet, but what does the chapter do together at UND?
We'll do like a meeting every other week or every week, and we try to just go outside somewhere and just get some hands-on experience. Like this week we're gonna be going duck banding out on a wildlife refuge in Minnesota, and yeah, that's just a great experience for kids. So
I mean, some other events that we got like we have a duck hunt set up. I think that's gonna just include scouting, waterfowl hunting, just kind of basically what you're doing here,
Okay.
but through kind of like through the university, and trying to get freshmen and sophomores involved in it. And,
yeah, it's mainly for people who haven't tried hunting before or haven't duck hunted. We
Yeah.
also do like learn to shoot events where we'll go out to the shooting range and shoot clays.
Yeah, we've got a sporting clays thing set up. We've got a trap event set up, and there's a big UND versus NDSU skeet shoot coming up here. So we'll head down to Fargo for that. But just a couple weeks ago, Ducks Unlimited held their banquet up here at the Alair Center, and the two group of people that were invited to help out and be involved were the UND trap shooting team and the Wildlife Society. So
Sweet. Yeah.
that was a fun event.
So what else is going on this semester for you guys? What are you guys busy with? Hayden, you said you're a pilot.
Yeah.
We were driving underneath the flight path of all those student flyers when we were going out there. Like, how many hours are you putting into like flying and everything?
So a lot of I'm not going to be like a commercial pilot or anything. Like, I have my privates and working on my instrument this semester, but I have roughly 100 hours in, so I'm still pretty fresh. But the airport here is nonstop busy. Like, it's probably one of the biggest general aviation airports. But like on my side, I'm doing like drones, so like I will be flying them from the ground is what I say. Mainly, it's really fresh coming into it, so like there's not a lot out there yet. There is and there isn't, and I just think it's gonna keep building over time. So that's my goal, is to, like, I don't know what I want to do, but hopefully in the future, by the time I graduate, there'll be something out there.
How have you? I kind of want to stay on the drones, and like Gavin, did you work with drones at all? Kind of backstory for people listening. So I know Gavin was it 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
Two
So
or
it was my
3 years
freshman
ago.
year summer.
I went out to Bismarck for, like, is it the Coteau Ranch?
Yep, the
That's out
Ducks
there.
Unlimited Coteau Ranch.
And UND has a undergraduate program for research, waterfowl and wetland research. Is that
Yep.
correct?
Yep. And then they had that PhD
Right.
student that was out there
So,
doing.
but we were highlighting some research that the undergraduate students were doing, and then also Taylor Linder, who was a graduate student at the time, and Gavin happened to be one of the undergrad students out there that summer. So we met. But Gavin, did you guys do anything with drones out there?
We did. So we weren't as involved in the earlier part of the spring, but they do drone work for like brood surveys and pair surveys. Especially in the early spring, they do their pair surveys. So they drive around the ponds and they fly their drones over the ponds, and they just see how many birds are paired up. Just that gives them kind of an estimation about like possible nest that they're going to have and nest numbers. And then come towards the end of the breeding season, they start doing their brood surveys, just seeing like that's data that they can compare with what the undergrads were doing. So we had X number of nests, and then they do their brood surveys, and they had X number of brood surveys, so they can kind of get a basis on fail success rate with that.
And all you need so technically, like, do you have your Part 107 right now?
I'm working on it.
You're
but
working
not
on
yet.
it,
Yep.
but so it's just like an online written test that you can go and like take, and then you have to go to like an FAA site to take the test. But as long as you like keep up with that and like go through and do some research for it, and there's a lot of study guides out there that would be really helpful for it. But technically, any one of us, like I have mine already, but it's a commercial drone license.
Yep. I got mine.
Yeah.
So then I can put my drone up and
Yeah.
work. So.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's pretty simple. But basically, what I'm doing the school aspect for it is to be like have the pilot/drone experience.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So you are going to get your like actual pilot license too?
I have my privates right now.
Oh, you are?
Private pilot
Okay.
license.
Nice. So like, yeah, that's pretty sweet. Being like having
Yeah.
both of those, and I think I'd like to get my pilot license at some point, but I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, there's people, and even in North Dakota, like the Game Commission, they have one or two pilots on staff that they in the winter they do all their deer surveys and the moose surveys and whatever else.
Need someone to do the bird surveys, flying those planes.
Yeah.
Marking all those. What are they? Breeding pairs is what they're counting when they're up in the sky.
Yeah.
So.
Be interested to do like snow goose surveys from a plane.
Yeah.
That would be
I've
so
seen. I definitely will not be flying on a northwest wind 10 to 15 mile an hour with a low cloud ceiling
Yeah.
with the birds pushing.
fun. Yeah. Bound to hit something.
Might have to tell the instructor, yeah, I'm good. I'll sit this one out.
So I think it was last year. Last year, my coworker went up in one of the bird survey, the duck survey planes, and just to highlight kind of the process of like what goes into like getting the big bird doing the big bird survey, and yeah, the pilots that he was flying with was like, yeah, it gets pretty hectic with how low you have to fly to the ground. It's like, yeah, we're dodging like telephone wires, like the cell towers, all these different things. They're having to read or count birds, and then also identify birds, and then also dodge telephone poles. So I can't imagine the stress level of doing something like that. Gavin, how'd you come across like the wildlife program here at UND, and then even why did you decide maybe you'd want to get into the waterfowl research stuff?
So I think I kind of always knew that like I wanted to do something in wildlife, but I don't think in high school I was like specifically waterfowl. I think even now I'm not specifically waterfowl, but migratory birds in general. Like if there's a waterfowl position open, like I'd love to take it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with the school here, I kind of applied to 3 different schools out here in the Midwest, down in Wyoming, and then here at UND, and then one in Montana, and was on a week trip with my mom to visit all the colleges in a week, and I came here, and I think the biggest thing for me is just the professor. Like we were talking about this a little bit. The main professor of the Fisheries and Wildlife Biology program here at UND is an ornithologist. as well, and she's amazing. Like the connections that she has with different programs, different other professors, and specialists in the field. Like I figured that there wasn't going to be this opportunity and the amount of opportunities that we have here at another college. Even if, we were talking Montana State has a better wildlife program, but I don't think that the opportunity that's here is anywhere else. And I mean, I took it, canceled the rest of the trip for the colleges.
Canceled the trip?
We should have just kept going. But yeah, came up a couple years ago here in March. Saw the college, went to a hockey game, visited with the professor, went through our building and kind of just general gist of what's going on, and I signed my deposit that day. I was like, "Yep,
done.
We're here."
Jake, what are you thinking with your what kind of attracted you to that degree, and even like how'd you even come about like finding that degree?
Well,
pursue?
First off, my parents both have the same degree. They're both work with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, so I grew up into it, a lot of it, and I grew into it. I love it. I love doing the research and wildlife, and I don't know. And then, like Gavin was saying, our advisor / professor, I did get a internship straight out of high school working with her pretty much through the university, and that was really cool. You don't really get that opportunity right out of high school a lot, so I just jumped on it, and then and I just and I'm not too far. My hometown's not too far from here either, so I like that aspect of it
Being
too.
able to commute back home.
Yeah.
Get home.
It's only about an hour drive, so
Nice.
take that.
Should have been up here next weekend.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the next 2 weekends are gonna be pretty crazy.
Yeah, should we touch on next weekend?
Sure.
Hey,
What our plans are?
You want to talk about duck season already?
Yeah,
We can talk about so
that's where my focus is, man. I want to hunt ducks.
Gavin's
Geese,
into
I
the
could-
ducks, I'm into the geese, and basically I'm into like as many as possible. Like I like mixed bags.
Oh yeah.
But so next weekend I think our plan is to have a 100 duck day.
100 duck. Yeah, Gavin was telling me about this weekend. He's like, yeah, we're going for 100 ducks. I'm like, over a weekend? He's like, no.
One day.
in a day, probably in the morning.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the morning. We'll be done by 9 o'clock hopefully.
Yeah.
Goodness. I told Gavin, like, yeah, just let me know how that goes. And like,
It's gonna be. I mean, there's been a
That
couple
is-
fields right now that
Yeah.
we could have easily done it easily.
And a lot of times, like the opening day, it's like a lot of it's like not shooting into your pintails and not shooting it like too
Yeah.
many. Like it's not hard to identify the drake versus hen, but like for us anyway. But like coming in, like we're gonna take a bunch of people that like don't really hunt. They hunt, but they don't. So I don't even think I'm gonna shoot. I think I'm just gonna keep track of everybody, and we need 17 guys to shoot 102 ducks in one day. So
Yeah. I know I'm gonna be very selective because I mean
that's what I told so a couple of my buddies that we hunt with every weekend. I said we will be only shooting drakes just for that aspect, and I don't think I'm gonna call a shot on a flock of pintails since we can only get one of them.
Well, I mean, we'll shoot our
We might
we'll
shoot
shoot our
our pintails
17 pintails in one flock probably.
Yeah,
One or
so
two.
it's not gonna do that. But the feed, I did find our feed last weekend,
Yeah.
so be interesting. It's right off a good duck roost,
Nice.
lots of ducks, so should be a good time. And I think we're gonna have it filmed. So
Sweet.
Yeah, I think Nick, who was in our hunt this weekend, I think he's gonna be the one filming it. So I think you being here is just giving him a whole ton of knowledge about how to film waterfowl hunts, like where you should be, like how to set blinds.
It's
and
just like calling. It just takes, in like reading birds, it just takes time, practice.
I'd like to get into that a little bit. So when you're filming, do you like to sit in the middle, or do you like to sit on the back side? Do you like to sit?
So it depends.
This was interesting. I kind of shook my head at Derek when he was setting up his blind the other morning.
I think I surprise a lot of people if we're using layouts, like as they're stubbling them and like setting them up. Like usually people like stack them side by side and like all in a line.
I put him right in the middle.
And you put me right in the middle. I'm like, every time I do this on all these trips, I'm like, so what I do is I flip one of the layout blinds to the back side, but then have the back of the layout blind to the back of the main line of the layout blinds, and then I lay on my stomach, shooting through the back of the layout blind. So like those doors, they kind of come up a little bit, so there's a little gap there, and so I'll just record through that, and then find a window between two layout blinds, and I just record through there. So
Really?
And I'll kind of like prop my hands like the backrest.
Mm-hmm.
I'll kind of put my arms kind of propped up on that, and then I'll put my camera on the back, that bar.
Yeah.
And then that helps stabilize the shots. And I'll kind of raise my wrist up to get it a little bit higher to get a shot.
Mm-hmm.
But for concealment, like I feel horrible if I like make the birds flare.
Flare birds, yeah.
So, and I feel like it's so hard to film when you're on your back and you're like this through the doors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I'm trying to show this through video, but like your arms are just like awkwardly messing with the doors, and
And you're sitting there up like this, like watching it through the camera, basically.
Yep. And so I just have a lot more, I think, room when I'm on my stomach. And granted, I'm a little smaller of a guy, and I can do that. But that's what I do. And the funny thing is,
like turning around. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
the funny thing is, it happened by accident. Like when I realized it was actually at UND 4 years ago when I came here for early goose, and the geese kept landing behind us, and I kept turning around. And then at some point, I just laid on my stomach. I was laying on my stomach the whole time, shooting through the back. I was like, wait, I could just do this like all the time when we're set up. And so I just kept with it the whole time, and I found success going that route.
Yeah, it's stable and be able to catch a shot, conceal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I guess another thing that gives me more freedom in, like, say if I miss that shot, because it is a tough shot to get. Especially if the geese are like super low and you have to raise your camera up and try to get it up and over the blind. So now I just use a 360 camera, and I'll just prop that kind of behind the blinds and just kind of right over the blinds. That way it gets the shot that it needs. But that's kind of my insurance plan, where if I miss the shot, I at least have this 360 shot where I could have that camera, that video like keyframed, like follow the geese all the way down if they're like working behind us and everything too, and then when they come into the decoys as well, or if it's a side shooter or whatever.
Yeah, I've thought about doing like the 360 GoPro camera, but just stick it right in the middle of the spread.
Yeah,
I think that'd work.
I've done it, but it's weird. It gets a weird shot because like
It doesn't shoot up, does it?
No, it shoots everything.
Yeah.
It shoots everything, but if you put it in the kill hole, if those birds do land in the kill hole, the birds are landing on top of it, and then it's just a weird shot where you're shooting it straight up into the sky. So you don't really get any depth of field in that shot. So I've always just put it right behind the blinds. That way you get the guys popping up at the same time shooting at the birds. So, but yeah, there's a lot of little tricks of the trade when it comes to the camera stuff too. Yeah. So
I have seen some just videos on YouTube. Not that 360 camera is not right in the spread, but it's like right on the edge of the spread, and it's maybe not a 360 camera, but it's just a GoPro that's just looking right at the kill hole. So then you have, the guy behind you, the hunters, your camera that's doing everything, and then you have another camera that's actually in the spread, and it is cool to see them just come out.
Yep.
And
yeah, I like that shot, but I think a GoPro in the spread would work better, because you do have just more control of, like, it's a flat image rather on the 360. It's literally a circular image that you then have to zoom in and get your standard 16:9 ratio. But yeah.
Yeah, if I would have been able to hold on to that one that I hunted on Friday before you guys came,
that would have been. Oh.
You had a field that you had.
Yeah, so I was watching the field since last weekend, and it was like 180, and it turned into like a 780. And the farmer said, "Yeah, go ahead, but you can't hunt Saturday or Sunday because it's youth day."
True.
So we had to
Yep.
had to burn them. We had 4 guys. Wish we had more, but we shot our 60 in like, I don't know, it was quick, hour and 15 minutes.
Wow.
When you guys were talking about your like your 100 duck hunt, you guys were saying you guys are going to be targeting just drakes. And Hayden, you mentioned like you guys can kind of pick them out a little bit easier than maybe some others, just because you've been hunting a lot longer.
Not even that. It's just like these ducks, like the greenheads don't have green heads.
They're all
Yeah,
brown.
and
So,
my question to you is like, how do you identify them? Like, how do you know they're?
Their chest plate.
So you're looking at for chest plates.
Yep. It's
That's the only way.
yep. When they're gonna be close. We're gonna get ducks close, and as soon as you see that line on the breast,
Yep.
it's almost guaranteed.
Basically, brown line, shoot, spotted, don't shoot.
Yeah.
Basically how I do it anyway.
Yep. And then, even if it's not a mallard, if it's something else other than a pintail and a mallard, if it's like widgeon or if it's teal or any of that, I don't even think we're looking at
No,
for drakes or anything.
no. Then you just mold the flock. That's the goal.
Do you guys? Does South Dakota have that like 2 bonus teal? Do you guys have that here too?
We have that till what, October?
It's like the first 2
8th or
weeks,
something?
2 weekends, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
something like
So you
that.
guys have your 6 ducks, and then you can get 2
Bonus teal,
They,
yeah.
they have to be blue wing. It's
Yeah,
not.
they-
Oh, they
can't-
do?
They have to
Yeah,
be
they can't
blue
be
wing,
green
yeah.
wing.
They
It
have
has
to be blue wing.
Just blue,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't remember the regs in South Dakota if it was just blue or not.
Called
I
Brooksy.
think so.
Is it?
Yeah.
But I think they started doing that because we don't get like that early teal season that you do like traditionally down in the south. So I think that allows hunters to kill their blue wing.
I would like to know the reasoning behind it. 'Cause
I would too. But
I think it's because that teal, they're out of here pretty early. Like by the time duck season starts in a couple weeks, usually it's kind of cold and starts getting colder out, and they're the first birds to leave.
what I don't understand is that
Like-
you can shoot 8 blue wing teal.
yeah,
yeah,
you could shoot
that-
8 blue wings if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I guess I don't see them that often. Not looking at
Yeah.
water.
Well, yeah, I guess it would depend on how close to water you're hunting. Like if you're gonna hunt a flooded field, you're gonna kill teal.
We shot some last opener.
Yeah, we did.
We were right next to body water though.
Yeah, but like if you're hunting a field that's maybe like a mile or 2 away from water, you may be lucky to shoot 1 or 2. But if you're right off a big body of water, you'll fill your teal limit. And they're not. I don't know how you feel about shooting teal. They're kind of small. They're cool looking, but they're kind of small. And then, I think personally for me, like I'm looking for mallards. I'm looking for widgeon. I'm looking for some of those other ducks. I'm not really too keen in on killing a bunch of teal.
I'm whatever comes in.
Yeah.
I don't really care that much, just because faster you get in, faster you get out, right?
That's right.
It's true. Well, is there? I guess before we go, what if you guys were to give one piece of advice to anyone that's maybe new to hunting or that's in college, maybe having some like just trying to get into hunting, or just any advice in general, what advice would you give?
Talk to a lot of people.
Networking.
Be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
Don't have enemies. Drive.
Yeah, more miles the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back on the scouting trend, there's such thing as like too much, I think. Like if you're like when I scout, I don't know about you guys, but it's like as soon as I see the first goose fly off the roost, then it's time to go.
Yeah, just from being here, it's an hour out, an hour and a half in some places, so you gotta leave a little bit earlier. But I think driving too much. Like if you find a field and it's worth it, sit on it.
Yeah.
Like don't leave it and then come back, because your chance of losing that field, unless it's posted and you have permission on it, but your chance of losing an unposted field because you went and looked at other birds,
Very high.
yeah,
I hate hunting unposted fields.
yeah.
I like to, even if it's not posted, I still go talk to the farmer,
Yeah.
just out of respect.
Jake, what do you think? What would be your advice?
I don't know. I think it's a good one. I don't know. Just, yeah, I like just putting on miles, just scouting, find a field, then once you get a field, sit on it. But,
You just flip on that music. What kind of music do you listen to when you're
a lot
scouting?
of different music. I go back and forth. There are different genres. I'll do country, rock, rap.
You have to do that to kind of keep your sanity, you think?
I'm silent.
Kinda, yeah.
I don't listen to any music.
Really.
This kid's
Just listen to the dirt road, man.
like 6 hours to South Dakota, just quiet, just talking. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, no music for me, no podcasts,
Really.
just straight focus.
Podcast? No podcast?
No
or
podcasts.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
Silent. No radio. It's dead silent. A lot of times I'm on the phone though, so it's
Yeah. I mean, how many times in the last between Friday and Saturday was I on the phone? It was just
You were constantly on the phone.
constantly. Constantly.
And then you were calling people on Snapchat too.
Oh, yeah.
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 I learned that about Gavin. Gavin's the one that
He's
calls
the
people
Snapchat
on
caller.
Snapchat.
Well, some people I don't have their numbers. I just never, either one, never got their number, or two, like I was trying to call Mark and his actual phone number just didn't work, and I was like, okay. So I just had to call him on Snapchat constantly. But I would say my, what's the word? My advice, just get out there. Like, yes, there can be, specifics where driving is too much, but just get out there. Go hop from pond to pond to pond to pond. Go hop from refuge. Don't hunt the refuges, but go from refuge to refuge to refuge. Find birds. Just find the birds, find the area, and it's gonna make your life a lot easier.
yeah. Don't be afraid to go to somewhere new.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if you're like, well, I don't really know what's going on in that area, do a little homework the night before or something. Pull up a map, take a look, see if there's, depending on how recent some of those satellite pictures are, just figure out where the water is, go look. If there's nothing there, go to a new place, go to a different place.
I think when you're starting off, find some buddies too. When you're doing it with buddies, it just makes it a lot better.
And I think hunting, just in general, deer hunting is one
Especially
thing.
for birds.
But yeah, birds. Hunting with buddies, with friends, even sometimes hunting with new people, that can be a little interesting. But the camaraderie that happens, right? That happens in a blind, that happens while hunting. Sometimes that can make a hunt more than whatever you end up shooting.
For sure.
Yeah, duck opener last fall. What did we do?
We had a good night.
We had a good night, and we ended up calling, like through the whole night. We just practicing calling, and when Nick Rush was on the spec call, and we have video of all of it. Just duck camp is, I think, just for like hunting reasons, like for like our success this fall is like have a good crew, hunting with people that know what they're doing, and
Even sometimes people that don't know what they're doing, but they're willing to learn.
for sure. But I've learned like through the past couple of years is a lot of times when like I first started going, it was just me and like everyone was in one rig. Now we have like, if we say we have 6 guys going out to hunt, like everybody's in their own car scouting. So
It
I found-
increases chances of finding
Exactly.
birds. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for letting me come out here for this weekend. It kind of got pushed back from weekend after weekend. Like we originally were planning for like was it the second weekend?
13th and 14th, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it just got pushed back, and with schedules not aligning, finally made it. Made it to UND. We got to the first trip, or got the first trip of our Collegiate Waterfowl Tour in the books now. So I've yet to know. I don't know where we're going next.
Might be.
So-
Should come back.
Come back.
Come back next week.
Come back in
For duck
2
opener.
weeks.
So you're
All right.
ending your early season goose season and starting your duck season
Duck
all in the
season.
same place.
Yeah, that would be something. I think listeners would enjoy that just because hearing what you guys were saying about that big,
Seeing that switch.
yeah,
That switch over.
big hunt, and seeing the switch. It'd be cool. And then doing a late. We could just do a series all in North Dakota.
Yeah.
just
North
late
Dakota
season. And
series.
just do it all.
That'd be fun.
2 foot of snow on the ground, -20, blowing 20 from the northwest, and
Yeah, you get to sleep in too.
every
Yeah, you
Don't
every
have to set the spread till 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Geese don't show up till dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you could do a lot out here. So, but yeah, no. I want to really thank you guys for letting me come out here. It does mean a lot, and being great hosts and everything, and all the gas mileage you guys, all the gas and that you guys had to buy, like none of it went unnoticed. So I appreciate everything that you guys did to make this weekend a success. So, but that's gonna wrap things up here at UND. I gotta catch a flight back down to Memphis and start planning start editing these videos and then start planning for this next trip because no idea where we're going next. So, but yeah, thank you again for listening. Thank you to our sponsors for sponsoring this season of the Collegiate Waterfowl Tour, and we will see you in the next one.